We've just finished an amazing conversation with a panel which I was moderating that was decorated by some of the best panelists. And I'm talking about Polycarp Igathe.
And for me, I hope my epitaph will be God's own fool, a salesman for everything.
Dr. Mercy Kunjiri.
We normally say you cannot pour from an empty cup.
And also, amazing human being in David Kinovia.
People cannot fight what they have been part of.
We have spoken about the subject of fit to lead. Leadership brings you to the end of yourself. So please watch out on this channel, please subscribe, and you'll be notified when we upload these videos.
Wow. Say wow. That was fit to lead, isn't it? I like God's own fool. Now I understand why I've seen a couple of comments on social media. People saying, I want the God of Polycarp Igathe. This story of comebacks and second chances. Everybody is looking for a job, but jobs are looking for Polycarp Igathe. Even me, I want the God of Polycarp. And I think he's given us some clues. How do you know that you're fit to lead? He gave us 4 points, isn't it? Who wants to go for the first one? You must be a strategic superhero. Number 2, you must own your own growth. Number 3, you're good in fixing engine. Corporate what? Janitor. And he said there are a couple of engines, social engines, commercial engines, isn't it? Number 4, you're a champion of human relations. He gave us a bonus somewhere. I'm not sure anyone picked it up. Who wants to dare? You stretch and support your people. You stretch and support your people. I liked what he said. As a leader, your biggest tool is what? Influence. Thank you, Polycarp. Now we go to the next session, which is the panel session. So I'm going to ask Polycarp, please come back. Do not tire. Today is your day. We are getting everything out of you. I'm going to introduce our 2 other panelists. I'm going to start with one very amazing lady, Dr. Mercy Kunjiri. So ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce you to Dr. Mercy Kunjiri as one of our esteemed panelists. Dr. Kunjiri is a highly respected research agronomist and GIS specialist with a wealth of experience in balanced crop nutrition. You can see the conversations that were going on there about soil, fertilizer practices, and the intricate dynamics of soil and landscape processes. Currently serving at the International Fertilizer Development Center, IFDC, she brings a deep understanding of the environmental and hydropedological factors that influence agricultural productivity. Dr. Kunjiri's academic journey includes a PhD. She looks young, but she is defiant in agronomy and soil science from Purdue University, along with advanced degrees in soil science from the University of Eldoret and Moy University. Her previous work experience as a postdoctoral research associate at the USDR ARS and the University of Arkansas has further solidified her as a leader in the field. With her extensive expertise and commitment to sustainable agriculture, Dr. Kunjiri will undoubtedly provide invaluable insights to our discussion. Let's give her a clap. Our third panelist will be David Kinuthia. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to also introduce you to one of our distinguished panelists. Karibu. David Kinuthia. David serves as the Group Sales Manager at Chloride, Exide Kenya, where he excels in driving sales strategies. There was a salesman standing here. Another one is this one. And fostering client relationships within the energy sector. Beyond his professional achievement, David is a passionate advocate for personal development. He dedicates his free time to speaking and coaching young people, focusing on spiritual growth and preparing them for the future. His commitment is to empower the next generation, and it is truly inspiring. So please join me in welcoming David Kinuthia. Great. I think I'm going to start from our keynote speaker. Polycarp, you spoke about failure. What would you describe as your biggest failure? And how has it shaped your leadership journey?
I think my biggest failure was misunderstanding what it takes to get into public office in Kenya. Mm-hmm. I misunderstood what it takes. Mm-hmm. That was my biggest failure. And I'm still coming to terms with it. Because I'm not convinced that what it takes is crime, corruption, lies, and all those negative things, because it appears to be the case. Because only when you're a liar, a thief, somebody of different values, do you make it to the highest office in this country. So that has been my biggest failure, and I had the appetite for it, but clearly I lacked the skill.
How has that changed your leadership journey?
I think it's really made me fall in love with my own description of being God's own fool. And I said life is a contest. I think it's a contest. And I forgot to mention a book. My other favorite book is the book of Ecclesiastes. I think it has changed me because I've come to accept and be kind to myself and say, it's always a contest between God's own fools, and the devil's geniuses. But there is not a single day that God's own fools have ever lost to the devil's genius, whichever religious book you read. And I'm using strategy to define the landscape. So the landscape it's always a contest between those two, good versus evil. Let me put it that way. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Mercy, do you want to give a stab at that? What's your biggest failure, and how has it changed your leadership journey?
So I have first of all to introduce the honors to introduce my husband, William. Hi, William. You can say hi to the people.
William, you can stand up.
Thank you.
We can see the hand, but you can't see the face.
Yeah, thank you. It's more of introduction. And next to him is my sister. I had to do the honors. William is actually a Strathmore Business School lecturer, just to give context.
So you're all scholars.
Yeah, and you're blessed with 2 babies.
Yes.
This is relevant because it might come in with my
yes.
Responding to your questions. But growing up, I envisioned myself as a very small young girl. I'm not that young, by the way, now that you know. And I think having schooled and envisioned my life as the education as the only way out for me, I grew up in a very poor background, extremely poor. I had people talk of jiggers here, people talk of lack of shoes to go to school. I was a culprit of that and more. And I think growing up for me was looking up to people who are bigger. And once I got there, not big in the sense of my job, but big in the sense of where I am at my career, I still have found myself small until of the recent past, when I actually start now embracing my journey and seeing myself as that dreamy girl growing up. And having worked through my life, education being the only way out to get me out of my poverty and what my parents had, and trying to just empower my family in a different way. And now that I am here, I work as a scientist. I am also actually a chair of the IFDC Council where I work. I represent the Kenya staff to the global management team. That's pro bono. I'm just a scientist. And I would actually say my failure, for the biggest part, now that you have a context of how it's been for me, has been seeing myself as that small girl still. Yet I've grown and empowered myself, and God has helped me through the journey. I've had mentors, I've had coaches. Thank you, Catherine. I actually reached out to Catherine on LinkedIn, and she welcomed me into her life. So it's just been, people see you, but you don't see yourself. So I was appointed, I was nominated as the chair of the council pro bono, as I've said, but I had never seen myself as that. I know I'm a scientist doing research somewhere, hiding myself behind the screen, doing data publishing, doing publications, and that is how my identity has actually always been defined for me. But what others will tell me is more. And how I've picked things up, I've been empowered a lot, even by my husband, William, here. Seeing myself as a leader, seeing myself as a lead for the family, not just at work. It's still a journey for me. I'm not trying to say I'm there. I'm still evolving. And right now, as I speak, I know last time I told Catherine I was being promoted to something bigger. I'm actually being promoted to something bigger because others have seen what I don't see. Thank you.
Thank you. And very humbling, by the way. It's not a bad failure. David.
First, I'm very grateful to be here sharing the platform with Dr. Mercy and Polycarp. I think the last time we were sharing a platform with Polycarp, he wasn't a politician then. I was reminding him that we had hair, now we don't have. And it's so important for me to say Catherine has become my mentor. Today I was remembering there are two ladies that have told me to do something and have done without questioning. One of them is Catherine. She told me to get into a platform, a global personal development platform, and I did. Anyway, what has been my greatest failure? I actually am an alumni of this particular training, and when we were going through this training, I discovered, well, I thought I knew that I'm dominant, and you saw dominant is red in color. Then the other trait is I'm also compliant. And these guys who are compliant can be sensitive in a way. They are also analytical. And in my leadership journey, my greatest failure, I work with people. I mean, I'm a salesman. I mean, if you come to, I work for Croyd Exide, and my title is Chief Hawker. That's how I describe myself. I mean, that's what I do. That's what I've done all my life. And to do that, I have to work with people, okay? And now when I think about this question, my greatest failure is how I've had to get some people thinking that I need sort of to give them an advantage, give them sort of an affirmative action. I remember some people that were supposed to, they were not quite qualified, but because of some weaknesses that they had, I thought I could help them. You know, and I would go to management and say, this person and this person, we need to do this and this. And I've done that a couple of times. And what has happened is those people, because they feel like it is the management that is behind them, a couple of them have failed me terribly. I remember one lady who we did that for, and I convinced management that she get promoted. She wasn't quite qualified, but I thought maybe I need to help her like that. Would actually proudly tell the other people that there's nothing that can happen to her. And it became so bad that the others were fighting her. And what I've learned over time as a manager is, you know, people have to merit something. You know, let people prove that they can actually be in that position and do what they are meant to do. If someone comes to you and they want favor, let them go through the process, because many people want the outcome of something, but they don't want to go through the process, and that is important. So yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Thank you.